Jay Rafferty will be introducing our guest speaker today.
Hello, you are here today because you are a high-maintenance job interest inventory matched you with careers in the public safety and communication career culture. Please welcome Dispatcher Tracy Malone, Supervisor Dispatcher Jason Saunders, and Trooper Sexton.
Okay, I guess I have to use a mic, which is probably good because I talk really fast, so I apologize ahead of time. My name is Tracy Malone. I'm actually got 24 plus years on. I came on patrol when I was 20 years old. I've handled all types of situations. I've handled pursuits, unfortunately fatals, riots, pretty much everything really in a crisis situation. This is my supervisor, Jason Saunders, and Trooper Rebecca Sparks. Sexton, sorry. Sexton. And we're going to get started first with a little video, kind of tells you what we do, and then we'll have questions at the end. Okay, we're going to show this one first. How to apply to be a state trooper or state highway patrol dispatcher. I don't really look like that.
Well, a highway patrol dispatcher, I think, does much more than a police department dispatcher where I came from. We're not only call takers, we dispatch, we're leads operators, we handle the service window. A lot of places don't do that. They have a call taker, they may have a leads operator that handles everything. We do everything. We enter warrants, do court documents, there's a lot of paper that flows through our hands in the course of a day.
The job as a dispatcher is a very intense, very fast-paced job, but it's also very rewarding. I enjoy being able to, help out the public and be there for my troopers and do a little bit of the investigating part, assist them on the traffic stops as much as I possibly can from behind the radio, but that part, it's definitely enjoyable.
For someone that's newly hired and wants to be a dispatcher, don't become discouraged early on. We get a lot of people train, want to quit midway through their training, want to quit. Just keep going, learn all your resources that are available to you, learn your CAD, and you'll be okay. Eventually, it'll be just like second nature, riding a bike, driving your car. You'll get it eventually.
Dispatching is a critical and integral part of the Ohio State Highway Patrol's overall operations. In providing law enforcement and safety services in all 88 Ohio counties, a 24/7 dispatching operation provides the link between state troopers, public safety officials, and the general public. Being a dispatcher is more than having a job. It is a career that can be both rewarding and challenging. Dispatchers work 8-hour shifts, but could be mandated to work 12 hours and even travel to other locations to dispatch. Since the Highway Patrol runs a 24/7 dispatch operation, you should expect to work some holidays, weekends, afternoon, and midnights, and at times be flexible enough to work a rotating schedule. Dispatchers have the ability to transfer to other facilities after their probation, as long as there is an opening at the facility into which they would like to transfer. A Highway Patrol dispatcher is a full-time position with health insurance including vision and dental coverage after 1 year. You will be eligible to enter a deferred compensation program and will be a member of the Ohio Public Employees Retirement System. You will also receive 10 paid holidays per year, 2 weeks of vacation leave, and a uniform with cleaning provided. Dispatchers are not permitted to be on their cell phone or text during their work time and must comply with uniform appearance standards. Highway Patrol dispatchers are AED CPR certified and could be subject to random drug testing. To be successful in your career as a dispatcher, you will need to possess computer skills and good customer service skills. You will consistently deal with the public on the phone and in person. You will need to multitask and be comfortable handling multiple phone lines. Good interpersonal skills are essential so you can work well with coworkers during emergency and non-emergency situations.
I think that the most important thing that a dispatcher does is make sure that the troopers are safe and that everybody goes home with no problems. That's my top priority, as they're out there assisting the public, and I need to be their second line of defense. So that's definitely my first priority.
You need to expect the unexpected. We had a trooper go out with a 37 disabled vehicle, a 14-year-old kid in the car. He thought it was just a disabled vehicle. 14-year-old kid, his mother. He gets out and starts pounding on the trooper. Then it turns into an 87, which is a backup needed, sending units. So that was unexpected at the time. You know, we had no idea. We're like, what just happened? This was a 37. He was out changing a tire, and it turned into something bigger.
You can apply to become an Ohio State Highway Patrol dispatcher online. Minimum qualifications include a high school diploma or GED, fluency in reading, writing, and speaking English, 1 course or 3 months of typing, and familiarity with operating a personal computer and word processing programs. You must also have a valid Ohio driver's license. Applicants selected for consideration will be required to travel to Columbus for a half-day of job simulation testing. An applicant who passes the testing in Columbus is placed in a pool of eligible candidates for 1 year. Interviews are then conducted at the applicable dispatch center. If selected for a dispatcher position, you will undergo a polygraph, background investigation, hearing and vision test, and drug screening. Employment as a Highway Patrol dispatcher will begin with a 60-day training period. Working with a field training dispatcher, you will spend 10 days on day shift, afternoons, and midnights, and then 30 days of other shifts assigned by a dispatcher supervisor. There are also 5 days of mandatory computer-aided dispatch classes in Columbus. Following that training, you will have 2 days of mandatory dispatcher orientation and 2 days of mandatory ride-along time with a state trooper who is working the road. There's a 6-month probation period for all dispatchers. Highway Patrol dispatchers are required to become certified in many programs, such as LEADS, CCH, OLEG, and EPIC.
I handle the various hours, including weekends and holidays. You know, I've been on 25 years now, and I'm working Christmas this year. You know, they let one person off per day, and I wasn't up. I have someone ahead of me. That's just the way it is. They told me when I came on I'd be working the holidays and weekends, and I still am. You just need to know that, you know, a lot of new dispatchers coming in and saying, well, I wasn't told that. Well, I was, and that was 25 years ago.
When it comes to this type of job, it's a 24/7 operation, so it's not something that you can just go home and at the end of the day, and it's every day, all hours, and sometimes you have to change family life to accommodate that, and it works. And holidays can be on different days if need be, but for the most part, you should expect that you're going to be working different shifts. Holidays, be away from your family on that aspect.
As a Highway Patrol dispatcher, you may be confined to your work area, sitting for long periods of time at a personal computer terminal with constant noise from telephone ringing and radio traffic. You may be exposed to stressful working conditions, including performance of multiple critical tasks simultaneously to ensure safety and welfare of Highway Patrol officers and the general public. Every employee in the Ohio State Highway Patrol is asked each day, what will I do today to contribute to a safer Ohio? For a dispatcher, it is being the lifeline of the trooper working the road. Officer safety is the dispatcher's #1 priority. Dispatchers are responsible for dispatching duties for Highway Patrol uniformed officers, police officers, and personnel who enforce commercial vehicle laws and regulations, as well as officers for the Ohio Investigative Unit and other state agencies. Highway Patrol dispatchers also work with other law enforcement agencies on special details, including operations that pertain to drug interdiction and felony case investigations. Being an Ohio State Highway Patrol dispatcher is among the most critical positions within the entire organization. If you are up to the challenge and are interested in starting your career and contributing to a safer Ohio, we encourage you to apply today.
I would tell somebody that wanted to start as a dispatcher that it's a stressful job, it's challenging, it's rewarding. Be prepared for anything and everything, and it's fun. It is what you make it.
Patrol is a good job to have. You might not realize it at first, but with time, I mean, the opportunities they give you, you know, if you're in Columbus or wherever you're at, you can go elsewhere. You can, you know, transfer to another post. They give you uniforms. They clean your uniforms. You get paid holidays. There's just dental. They give you dental, vision, health benefits, the opportunity to get into first comp program. I was told a long time ago when I first come on by a sergeant, Sherry, you need to get into deferred comp. Well, that's made me a pretty sizable income now, you know, and that's my second income when I leave. So that's what I would suggest to a lot of them, you know, stick with it. It's a good job to have. I never look back.
Okay, does anybody have any questions on that? Based on that? It's really, it can be a really stressful job, really stressful, but a very rewarding job. Our first and most important thing is to keep these gray shirts, we call them gray shirts, these troopers safe. Because they're stopping cars along the road, and when they approach a car, they do not know what type of person they're going to stop. It could be a drug dealer, it could be a murderer, it could be anything. And that does happen here in Jackson County, believe it or not. We just don't broadcast it. So we got to make sure these guys stay safe and go home to their families every night. So it can be a very stressful job. We have another presentation that Dispatcher Saunders put together, and he's going to go ahead and answer your questions there.
Okay, so like the video pointed out, our job duties, receive and transmit radio communications. Basically, when the trooper stops a car, anything a trooper does within their 8 to 12 hour shift, they call in on their microphone inside the car, and we receive it at the post, and we have to give the information back to them, okay? So when Trooper Sexton stops a car out here on any of the highways, she calls the license plate number of that car in, and then our dispatchers give the information back for the license plate, who the vehicle is registered to, the type of vehicle, the color, the year, the registered owner, whether or not the tags are good or expired, whether the registered owner is suspended or valid, all that good stuff, okay? If they have any warrants, if they're wanted by any other agency for whatever reason, if it's a misdemeanor, felony, anything like that. We dispatch patrol officers and operate equipment for the purpose of law enforcement, traffic control, crash investigation, motorist assistance, and security on behalf of the Ohio Department of Public Safety and other state agencies. Basically, if there's a crash, the Highway Patrol is charged through statute that we investigate every motor vehicle crash outside of the municipality, okay? So what happens is if some of your family members are involved in a crash, whether they hit a deer, whether someone crashes into them, whether they just fail to control the vehicle when they crash into a ditch, it's the Highway Patrol's responsibility to investigate that crash if it's outside the municipality, which means if it's outside of the city corporation limit, okay? So if you're ever involved in a crash outside of the city, chances are the Highway Patrol is going to be the ones that come investigate it, okay? So where does that start? Who do you call? Well, if you call 911, the 911 dispatcher down at the sheriff's office forwards that call to us. And what we do is we dispatch a trooper to the crash scene, okay? The information we need to get from the callers is there any injury involved? Do we need to send the fire department? Do we need to send the squad? Anything like that, you know? Are people hurt? Are people okay? Is it just a deer crash? Because the information we obtain is what is going to pretty much is what we'll need to relay to the trooper that's responding to see whether or not they have to run lights and sirens. Is it a deer crash? Is it off the roadway? Is the deer out of the roadway? If it's a case like that, it's not as urgent. It's still urgent, but it's not as urgent. She's not, the Trooper Sexton, if we dispatch her to a deer crash, she's not going to be running lights and sirens and putting herself and the other motorists at risk to get to a deer crash if it's out of the roadway, not causing a traffic hazard, okay? But if it's a crash involving more than one vehicle with injury, possible fatal injury, you know, it's in the roadway causing a traffic hazard, that will depend on the information we get, what her response is going to be. Is she going to run lights and sirens and that kind of stuff, okay? We operate the law enforcement automated data system, LEADS terminal, which receives and transmits messages. Basically every license plate and driver's license that we come in contact with, everyone that our troopers stop every day, they give that information to us and we run it through the computer system to find out, you know, are the tags good, are the people valid, do they have any warrants, do they have an ID card, that kind of stuff. Same works for our Ohio investigative unit folks. Those that investigate liquor crimes. underage consumption. They've actually got an office over in Athens. Quite a bit, they'll call us and have us run that information to see, is it a fake ID? Is the person under 21 has been consuming alcohol? That kind of stuff. We interpret messages received and route them to the appropriate person. A lot of times, Jackson being our district headquarters of the Highway Patrol, sometimes we'll get messages from out-of-state agencies that we need to figure out what they even are and then try to route that to the appropriate. Does it need to go to Columbus? Does it need to go someplace local? Is it meant for Ironton or Chillicothe, something like that? So that's one of the other things that we do through our lease terminals is we're a point that we receive messages for sometimes other facilities that aren't meant for us. Maintain radio log, prepare and type reports, maintain proper files for correspondence and reports. I'm telling you now, when I started in the Highway Patrol 17 years ago, we had one computer, we had a typewriter, and the rest we hand wrote. It's not like that today. It's all computerized. Everything is typed. We don't hardly write anything down anymore. I don't even carry pens. So, and it's even like that for our troopers too. Their tickets that they issue are all typed in the car and printed in the car. Crash reports are all typed up now. We don't handwrite anything anymore.
But I do still carry a pen.
Receive and report all telephone calls. All telephone calls that come into a patrol facility are recorded. We have the availability to play back the audio and listen to those. Part of my duties as a supervisor is quality reviews. So I'll sit in my office with my headphones on and I'll listen to phone calls that come in to make sure that the dispatchers are treating the people that call professionally, making sure that they're getting all the pertinent information and making sure that information is disseminated to the right people. Provide information and or directions to the general public. I would say the majority of the phone calls that we get as a Highway Patrol are information phone calls. People calling in and they want to know what the road conditions are when it's snowing out. They want to know construction. They want to know, I just got a ticket and I don't know what to do. Where do I pay it at? It could be a whole just list of anything and everything that people could be calling and asking about. So it's one of the things we deal with too. We have a very high volume of telephone calls, but they're not necessarily service calls. The majority of them are just information calls. And we greet and assist visitors to the patrol facility. Whenever someone comes to the patrol post, to the window, we greet them and do what we can do to help them. A lot of times, people will come on post, need directions. Sometimes people will come on post and say, hey, do you have a restroom I can use? We've been traveling, we're up on 35. Yeah, absolutely. We buzz them in. So. And we also provide liaison services to the area communities and other public agencies like we're doing today. We're down here talking to you folks about our career. We're basically ambassadors of the Highway Patrol to other law enforcement agencies. Sometimes, I know when I was assigned to the Ironton Post when I was young, about 17 years ago, when I came on, the South Point Post and the Ironton Post in South Point was the post most southerly part of the state. It was not uncommon for me to have visitors from West Virginia and Kentucky, and also those agencies from West Virginia and Kentucky come on post. I was possibly their first contact with the Highway Patrol, and maybe their only contact they'd ever have with the Ohio State Highway Patrol. So it was important for me to maintain my professionalism and be that ambassador, if you will, of the Highway Patrol to them, okay? And we perform other related duties as required, and that could consist of anything, whether it be helping out with payroll, court tickets, sending that stuff down, anything and everything, just anything that's deemed a necessary requirement, all right? Like they said in the video, we're the lifeline between the troopers and the public. The troopers, they stop cars, they radio everything in. We're on the other end taking the phone calls and giving that information back to them. That's a picture here of our computer-aided dispatch console. This is what we sit behind every day. Actually, I don't sit behind it every day. This is Dispatcher Malone's console right here. You'll see the screens. It's got the 3 big screens in the middle, and then a screen on the left, and on the right is the radios, and then the monitors for the security cameras. So if you look at the big monitor in the center, that's the monitor that she's going to have all for active events on. If there's a trooper on a traffic stop, it's going to pop up on that center. Her available units are going to be on that. The monitor to the left of that, that's a map, and it shows all of our patrol cars have GPS tracking on it. So it's a map that shows her where all her troopers are at all times. Okay.
She can hide from me. I know she's at all times.
The-
I can't hide.
The monitor on the right is also a status log of all the units that are what they're on. Okay. Then we've got this far right monitor is the radios, and the far left monitor is a log where we keep information, where we log all the information down, phone calls, our crash report numbers, all that good stuff. All right.
So basically, you have 6 screens you look at all day. You've got 2 keyboards and 2 phone calls, 2 phones. Sometimes you are typing while you're talking on the mic. You also have foot phones. You can do their hands. You can type, talk on the mic, answer the phone sometimes. You see dispatchers like this sometimes, talking to news media, what have you. It can be pretty intense. You can be like yesterday was a very quiet day. Just give you an example. It was a very quiet day. The other dispatcher I worked with, we dispatched 4 counties: Ross County, which is Chillicothe, Jackson County, Benton County, which is Carpenter, Pike County. It's a pretty quiet day, and she made a comment, I think it's so quiet. Phone rings. 2-car head-on crash and life flights en route. Possible fatal. We're like, so it can happen like in seconds. You can have like the most boring day ever, and then that phone rings and changes everything. So you just never know what's going to happen. It's pretty intense. It really is. Very stressful. Can be stressful.
And just hitting on that, the job, like she just said, how it can go from nothing to something just like that. I was actually dispatched in 2006 when 2 of our troopers got killed in line of duty and got the list. And it was a quiet. Was that a Friday morning? Thursday morning? It was a Thursday morning, and I'm just sitting there. It's quiet at the end of the shift. We had about an hour left of our shift, and that happened. So it can go from nothing to chaos in a matter of seconds. All right.
And when that happens, it's dispatcher's job to make sure they know where all the troopers are at all the time.
Yep.
Because we've been sure involved in a crash, and then
Yep.
I got sick from Jackson. The guy was supposed to really can because he had to get away from his job duties because he just went through a traumatic situation. She was actually assigned to Galveston when all this happened, but she
I had just left.
You just left.
I had just left. I had made it home, and it happened about 2 hours after I went home.
So you got to take care of your troopers. I remember at all times to be something happens, just to be a shooting, if you're resisting. So you don't see us so much as them. Everyone's like, oh, state trooper. But our job is just as important as theirs because we have to take care of them.
Yep.
We got to make sure they go home every night to their family, to their kids, to their spouse. I mean, our job is very important.
If I'm struggling, if I'm out there and I'm fighting for my life, this is also, I can talk to them. That's how I communicate when I'm away from my cruiser and I'm at the car. This is how I talk to them. When I key up, I hit that little orange button. If I hit it, that sends off an alarm. I'm a hostage. Somebody's taking me hostage. They know. It sends alarms to them. It's their job at that point to know where I'm at. Get somebody to me quick.
And I can tell her voice sometimes.
Yeah, and my voice will raise if I get.
We know each other so well.
Yeah.
I know she's having a bad day or she's got someone's trying to get some trouble. And I'll try another trooper, SO deputy, a police officer, head her way now. Because maybe something's going on. She doesn't want to stay on the radio from the other person. She's got stopped. So if I can tell her voice something's wrong, and I know to send her help ASAP. Because I'm telling you, we know people out here, not just from Jackson, we get people from out of state, Wisconsin, Michigan. 35 is the U.S. route, which means it's U.S. So we've got people traveling this highway constantly from out of state. We don't know who these people are. We have no idea who these people are. These are pretty bad people that we get stopped up.
If you ever pick up the paper and look at it, you'll see that our criminal patrol guys are very successful out on 35. It's basically the drug pipeline. They're picking up dope in Detroit or Dayton, and they're taking it down to Huntington or Charleston, West Virginia. Our criminal patrol guys will sit down 35 with our K9 units every day and pick cars out of them. And what's scary is the fact that the ones they're pulling are pretty good stops. The scary thing is what's getting by them when they've got those cars stopped. All right, there's a lot of dope traveling down 35 and 23 and some other highways in our district and our counties. So
You just don't hear about
these
it.
folks, they're dealing with some pretty bad folks out there on the highway, and there's some pretty good folks too. You know, that are driving down and just sometimes they break down. That's another job that we have to get those folks that have a flat tire some assistance. All right.
I actually had a person come last week. Her boyfriend got a speeding
Some career opportunities. Dispatcher, CAD specialist, which is basically a dispatcher in a specialty position. A CAD specialist is a person who deals with just everything with CAD, which are computer-aided dispatch. A lot of computer information right there in that CAD system. Dispatch supervisor, which I am. We're the folks that oversee the dispatchers. Right now I'm over 3 dispatch centers, Jackson, Athens, and Portsmouth. I oversee 28 employees. We cover 6 posts in 10 counties. So part of my duties is I'm considered part of our district staff. I have to be the liaison to the other agencies and their dispatch operations and talk to those folks and make sure that if there's something not working right, that I need to get a hold of those folks and let them know we have an issue and try to resolve that. We had an issue a while back down in Lawrence County with the 911 center that they were just dropping the ball on things, and I went down there and talked to their 911 director and said, hey, look, here's what my folks are telling me, here's what we're seeing, can we get this resolved? And by working with him, we were able to come to a resolution and get that problem fixed. So that's part of my duties too. I also travel around to the different dispatch centers, oversee their scheduling, all that good stuff. CAD administrator, that's the subject who's basically in charge and oversees all the CAD operations, oversees the CAD specialists, and is responsible to being the liaison to the Ohio Mark system. They talk to back and forth and make sure that our maps are always updated. We have road construction like inside of the county right now. They're building a bypass that goes from north of Lucasville, comes out just west of Wheelersburg. It's those folks' responsibility to make sure that our maps are constantly updated with the new highways and such. There's dispatch manager. There's only one dispatch manager in the state right now, and she oversees all the dispatch operations in the state. Currently, we're just shy of 300 dispatchers. We have 31 dispatch centers throughout the state. It's her responsibility to oversee all of us in the field to make sure that the job's getting done. All right. Salary currently with the raise that went into effect with the past contract, which this is going to change on July 1st. Starting out, it's $18.39 an hour, which is roughly $38,251.20 a year. That's step 1. It maxes out at $21.83, roughly $45,406.40 a year, which is step 5. But right now, let's see, it's 2.5. You guys went 2.5, and then 5. So these numbers actually change July 1st. But when you factor in longevity and shift differential, if you work any shift other than days, if you work after your midnight shift, you get an extra $1 on the hour. So walking into a job making almost $20 an hour right off the bat without any college, I mean, it's pretty good for around here, all right? Position may be required to travel to other dispatch centers as needed. That's like the video said. We have several what we call traveling dispatchers that are assigned to our district. They have a primary reporting location and they have 2 secondaries. So our travelers that work in Jackson, if I need them to, they can go to Portsmouth, they go to Athens if needed. Benefits, they talked about the benefits in the video: health insurance, state paid life insurance, the Ohio State Troopers Association Union, deferred compensation, it's kind of like a 401k. It's the Ohio 457 program.
Retirement.
It's
When you get old, you want retirement.
yes.
That's what that means. My extra money for your retirement.
When I got hired, I started my law enforcement career 20 years ago with the police department up in MacArthur in 1997. And back then, I didn't think anything about retirement because I was 19 years old and I just wanted to go out and stop cars and drive fast and carry a gun and all that fun stuff and arrest people. I didn't have any idea about retirement, but now I've got 20 years in the retirement system now and 17 with the patrol. I'm thinking I'm ready to move to Virginia Beach and just hang up my law enforcement hat, So retirement, it's something that I can't stress it enough. You need to start thinking about it while you're young. Think about what you want to do what grade are you all in? 6th, okay. When you guys start thinking, when you become freshman, sophomore in high school, when you start getting your driver's license and such, start thinking ahead, start planning ahead. That's the best advice I can give you, to think about what you want to do when you get out of high school, whether you want to go to the military, you want to go to college, whether you want to, whatever field you want to go in, start thinking about it while you're young still, so that way when you do graduate from high school, you'll have a plan in place. That way you can start thinking about the stuff, because I'm telling you, time goes, it flies. Once you get out of school and start getting out on your own, it goes by like crazy. The older you get, the faster time flies by. It's no joke. Public employees retirement system, I just touched on that. 2 to 6 weeks paid vacation year. I've got over 400 hours of vacation leave right now that I can't use. And when I say I can't use it, I just got to have so much stuff going on right now, I just don't have time to use my vacation leave. But I've just got a whole bank of vacation that, I mean, if I want to take off right now and take vacation, I can take vacation for the next 2 months. That's how much leave I've got built up
I
already.
know you guys discussed that you really do like vacation and all that stuff work, but most jobs I think offer maybe 2 weeks a year. We can, I think I have over almost 300.
Yeah, we can compound a
I can
vacation.
take off weeks, and you guys want to think it's a big deal, when you're stressed out, and your kids want to go to the beach, you'll understand, vacation's a good thing.
It's
It's
yeah.
a good thing.
Yes, absolutely. Plus, there's 2 paid days of sick leave per year.
And some of them call that benefit, I know a lot like Fuka, factory whatnot, I don't think they give you 10 paid sick leave, or maybe you call in sick, and they have a doctor's excuse like you do here at school now. But there you call in sick, you know, I'm sick, I have to go to the doctor and whatnot, and you get 10, you get paid for it.
Yep.
For being sick on work. I'm not saying that you don't use it, but you guys don't understand that as much, but 10 paid sick days is a big deal.
That's
More than a lot of
100%.
those.
That's paid at a 100% rate. Some places will prorate it and pay you 70%. Now, after 2 weeks, they'll pay you 70%, but you have to have doctor's excuse, physician certification, FMLA, something of that. But 4 10 paid sick days per year, 4 personal leave days per year, 10 paid holidays a year. So you're working the holidays, you get paid for it. If you're off on the holiday, you still get paid for it. You can also take that time in compensatory time if you want. So that way you'll accrue a leave balance, so you can use it later if you wish.
Just more on that, what do you mean by comp time? We worked holidays, like Memorial Day, 4th of July weekend, on the summer holidays,
Labor
we're
Day.
extremely busy, people traveling and whatnot. So we usually have troopers working 5-hour shifts, dispatchers working 5-hour shifts. So we miss out on 4th of July, we miss out on Memorial Day, chicken and whatnot. So getting paid holidays, that's like time and a half when you work. It doesn't get like $30-some an hour. But anyway, which is good money. But and then it kind of makes up for having to work. You have to work and want to get extra for it, right? I mean, you don't work a holiday. I've got 24 years going. I work all the holidays. I do not get weekends off. And you will be stuck with Thursday nights and afternoons. But getting extra pay kind of makes it feel a little better. It doesn't make it so rough.
Well, like I said, you can take that time and you can take that pay in time and work 8 hours on your holiday and get 12 hours of leave out of it. So it's time and a half. So you'll have 12 hours of leave, a balance that will carry forward that you can use later
12 hours
on.
a day. You want to take off next Monday, you take off next Monday, you have a free day off, do what you want.
Yeah.
It's got some good benefits. And I know you guys understand that right now. When you get older, you will.
A tuition reimbursement program. Depending on the OSDA's got some different rules than what I follow, because I'm exempt, but
I know that now.
yeah, you take advantage of tuition reimbursement. I'm not sure, you might want to tell them how that works. I know how it works for exempt, but
He's exempt, he's not in the union, that's what he means by that. But we're in the same union as the troopers, and they'll pay the trooper the dispatcher tuition. So I didn't go to college when I graduated. I got hired at Patrol when I was 20 years old. So more than my life has been at the Patrol. But now I'm going back to college, and they will pay me to go to college. They'll pay me tuition. I know you guys don't think it's a big deal, but when you come to junior seniors in high school, and you got $40,000 a year in college tuition, that is a bonus, because they'll pay up to $7,500
for semester.
I think it's every 6 months. So I get my college paid for. I already got my associate in business management, and I get my bachelor's in human services. So they will pay for my tuition. So that's another thing to look at. If you really want to go to college, maybe you can apply for the Hub Patrol, and get your college paid for. Or most of it paid for. So that's actually a really good program to be involved in.
Absolutely. And uniforms and dry cleaning provided. Everything I'm wearing except my t-shirts and socks are provided by Patrol. Uniform, shirt, trousers, shoes, everything. Plus dry cleaning. Dry cleaning is not cheap. I learned that when I took some stuff down there not too long ago. Then with dry cleaning, she gave me the bill. I'm used to just dropping my stuff off and picking it up. When I actually had to pay for it, I was like, wow, it cost $6 to dry clean a shirt. Who knew?
And that's also a bonus because I'm wearing the same thing every day for 24 years, but it's a bonus because you don't have to go out and buy dress clothes, which can be hundreds of dollars. I mean, you don't have to worry what you're going to wear every day to work because you know what you're going to wear, right? So it's actually a big bonus instead of, because your parents would go out and buy your clothes now, wait till you have to buy your own clothes. It's not cheap. So it's a bonus to be provided your uniform.
We issue all of our employees 4 short sleeve shirts, 4 long sleeve shirts, ties, 4 pair of slacks, 2 pair of shoes, fleece jackets, coats, all that stuff. So, yeah. So with that stuff, it can get, if you looked at the actual prices on that stuff, it could get, we're talking about $60 for a pair of trousers. So imagine if you had to buy all that stuff yourself, it could get very expensive real quick. If you were just given a stipend and said, here, this is what you need to go buy it. And there's also occupational injury leave that you get hurt in line of duty, if you get hurt at work, you're also covered on that. Unusual working conditions. The video touched on that, and dispatcher one touched on that also earlier. Works weekends and holidays, rotate days off. Individual could be confined to a work area in the city for long periods of time with a personal computer. The workstation I showed you, just imagine sitting behind that for 8 to 12 hours a day. It could be a little stressful. Dispatch area could have constant noise from telephone ringing and radio traffic. Individuals could be exposed to stressful working conditions involving performance of multiple critical tasks simultaneously to ensure the safety and welfare of the highway patrol units and the public. Just having that kind of stress on your shoulders every day. I mean, think about it. Anything you do could be life or death, and it from the outside looking in, trying to understand that, it's hard to understand, but until you've actually sat in that room and been part of that, and known that, hey, my buddy's got a car stop down the road on the side of the roadway, and at a moment's instant, a vehicle can swerve off the road and strike him as he's up there talking to a violator on the side of the road, right? Anything you do, you know, how minutes, seconds are that means just count, because, you know, if there's any type of delay, if you don't have that sense of urgency to make the phone call and call to get a squad, you know, that minute or two that you had that delay, could that have saved somebody's life? Absolutely. We know this for a fact. Medical qualifications, video covered that, like I said earlier. High school diploma or GED. I'm telling you, for a career that you don't have to have a college degree in right now, that you can get the tuition reimbursement, you can get the pay, you can get. I'm surprised that we don't have some sort of a restriction for a degree yet, at least an associate's degree, because we're so tech savvy with the computers and with just all the multitasking that you have to do. Read, write, and proficient at the English language. 1 course, 3 months experience in typing, operating a personal computer, or word processing or equivalent. Back in the old days, that was a thing. Now we're basically, I mean, you guys are probably typing now with a lot of your stuff, right? Am I right, wrong? Yeah. See, I didn't have a computer until I was like freshman in college. Yeah. We are old. Class 96.
You might have something that I did, not a senior in high school.
Possesses agency preferred qualifications, possess training or experience in dispatching and knowledge of law enforcement procedures. I know they say that, but that's not necessarily. I don't really look at that when I hire people, because sometimes I found it's easier to train people the way we train people, rather than try to retrain somebody who's already been trained somewhere else, because we find that they sometimes have developed bad habits. If someone worked at the police department or the sheriff's office as a dispatcher before, they kind of get bad habits. So we don't necessarily, it's not that we can't retrain them, but sometimes it's easier just to start fresh and introduce the stuff to people as they come in. I've hired probably 7 people in the 5 years I've been a supervisor now. When people walk into the room and they see all the computer screens and they hear all the radios and the telephones, it is very overwhelming. It's not like in the local police department, sheriff's office. It's just, it's kind of hard to describe. It's just, you know, it can be very overwhelming and make you very anxious at the same time. Because it's the fear of the unknown. You don't really know what you're getting yourself into. I can even tell you, when I got hired in 2000, you know, I worked in Ironton and driving up 93, coming back to Jackson, because I lived up here at the time, thinking, what have I got myself into? And I was a police officer prior to that, working the road. So for me to have that thought back then, when we just had a typewriter and one computer writing stuff down on log, I mean, it can be very overwhelming. But it's the fear of the unknown that we have to really tell our folks, you know, we're going to train you, we're going to train you right. We have faith in you. 6 months experience in public relations, basically just talking to people. Any type of job you work, if you start out in high school working at McDonald's, that's basically public relations, talking to folks, you know. Possessing working knowledge of leads and 12 months experience in operation of a computer. Leads, if you know what leads is, law enforcement automated data system, that is what it is. If not, we'll train you.
Basically what that is, that's the program provided to all law enforcement agencies. And what you do is that you can enter license plate, his name, their license numbers, and it gives you all the information. Like if you got a traffic stop, you got a ticket, I can run you know it. You don't know who you are, but that's your name, DOV, I can run you, figure out who you are. It can be, it's like a brain of our agency. We can figure out who you are, what you've been doing, and it's pretty.
And those files, I teach it to our class on leads. You know, there's just so much stuff on it that we can just tell you all kinds of stuff about leads. It's basically anything and everything. It's in there. About Ohio Class D operator's license. Be considered for position of the dispatcher. You have to complete the following: the application, which is online; the critical testing, which is a computerized multitasking, multi-domain test that once you apply online, we call the applicants to Columbus Star Academy, and they go and take the test. It takes a couple hours. What it does, it basically grades your skills with multitasking. Have a set of headphones where you're getting telephone calls and people talking, and basically just grades you on whether or not you've got the ability to multitask.
Now just check and see if you can answer the phone, talk to the radio, and get the thing, like,
Yeah.
emotionally.
Yep.
If you have a personality, if you're able to do that, that's what they test for. You know, if you can't make it, it's not, you know, not everybody makes it. It's not a bad thing. It's just, we gotta make sure you have the ability to handle stressful situations.
Before we implemented this testing, we were finding the majority of the people that we were hiring that were unsuccessful in their training, when they just weren't getting it. It was the fact that they just couldn't multitask. They would freeze. The phone would ring, a trooper would say something on the radio, someone would walk into the post and ask for directions, and they would just freeze. They did not, it's not that they couldn't do the job, it's just they just couldn't process the you know, what's the most important thing to do. It was, they just locked up. So that's, we actually implemented this testing about 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, and prior to that, all we had was a typing test. So I found that the folks that we've actually screened through the testing have been a higher caliber of folks that can actually multitask and to the degree of what we're asking our folks to do.
I think we're getting a little close to time here. Are we getting close to time? Are we still good, or? You're okay. You're okay? Okay, I just want to make sure. I didn't want to go over if they had something we gotta go to. Okay. You have about, I think we have about 20 minutes. Do you want to go ahead and do the pursuit, and then it's control time?
Yeah,
Okay,
we can do
not
that.
switch off, but I think they're kind of, we'll probably like to see that.
Yeah, we can do that.
the speed of 50 miles an hour. Yeah, okay. Something's going for the bridge. Going for the bridge. We got him here.
Thanks, Evan. So you see why our job, even though we're not seen out like they are, you guys can see them on the road, you guys say, oh, there's these Mom, slow down. We are just as important as they are. They're more important, but we can be as important. Because our job is to keep them safe and help them do their job in a safe way. Anybody have any questions or? Okay, do you guys want to split up? What we're going to do is, how about you go outside and take her car? Because she has all the equipment in her car, and she can show you how we communicate to each other. It's kind of a cool way to see stuff if you've never seen it before. I think Wes, you want to slide them up?
Let's do these from here back. Go out, go on.
Ignore the mess, guys. It's rain. It's dirty. But that's my office all day, every day. So ignore that part of it. Okay?
All right, guys, listen up. Some of you have questions that they already answered. They did a good job at answering. So some of them like, work nights and weekends, do you travel for your job? If you have that question, you don't have to ask that, okay? Because they already covered that. So ask the questions that they didn't cover.
Wait, where do you guys ask one more about the second? Yes. What classes should you take? Computers, typing. I would say take a foreign language like Spanish. Because we have a lot of, like I said, we've got a lot of people travel down this road, and a lot of people talk different language, and we don't do well communicating with them. There's our trooper that's very fluent in Spanish, and telling them a lot to translate for us.
We've got a system in place that through our computer aided dispatch, we have someone that we also have a contract with AT&T. We have a language line, so if we have
A language barrier, we can call them.
we can call them, they can translate. We also have Sergeant Rosford over Chillicothe, he's fluent in Spanish. Trooper Craft in Ironton is fluent in Spanish, and that information is listed in our computer aided dispatch. So if we have that issue, we can call those folks up. We can do a search and find out who's working and get a hold of those folks. They can act as a translator for us.
So that, yeah, computers are big thing. As you can see, I had
Computers
6
and
computer screens in front of me, 2 keyboards, and 2 phones. So it's very, computers are a big thing. How many hours a day? I usually work 8 hours, but where we don't have many dispatchers and troopers as you would think. I work 8 hours, but there's a dispatcher that calls in sick on the next shift, and I'll be working 12 hours. Anybody else? Yes.
I just social media tonight.
As you can see, when you watch the news, there's always those recordings out there of some bad cops. If they don't show both sides of the story, usually get one side of the story. Not all cops are bad cops. Seriously, they're not. There is some. I'm not gonna lie to you, there is some, and they do bad things. They shouldn't have this job. But it does affect their job, and that's how people look at it. They look at us a lot differently now than they did 20 years ago. We didn't have social media.
The patrols actually, the Department of Public Safety and the Highway Patrols establish policies and procedures dealing with social media, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. We actually have, the division has their own Facebook page, their own social media outlets that they put good stuff on. People can make comments and whatnot. It's important for us as individuals to remember that anything that we do all do and we post online can also reflect us as an employee of the Department of Public Safety and the Highway Patrol. So we are regulated to, as far as, we've got the freedom of speech, obviously, through our constitutional rights, but we just can't post anything that's online, that we feel online, just because we feel that way, because because it would impact us in our work. You know, we can't make statements on there that are derogatory or libel or slanderous about individuals, obviously, because they would reflect on us and the Department of Public Safety and the Highway Patrol, our credibility, basically.
So if you had to sign a contract when you first get hired, that if you go to social media like Facebook, you're not allowed to post anything that's dog related, nothing, not on our uniform, nothing. Yes.
I'm going on the next field trip, so yeah, we're good.
Sure.
Okay.
Any other questions? Yes, sir.
How do you do stress when you go?
Stress from my job. Geez, that's kind of hard. It is very stressful job. I do a lot of weight training and working out, running, walking, that type of deal. It's hard to say go home, just let it go, because sometimes you get home and you'll get phone calls and you'll say, hey, did this happen or what did this? So you have to deal with it in your own way. Everyone deals with stress their own way. You have to find that outlet.
Sometimes you go into stuff that will happen in your career compared to like the crash in 2006 when I was working at Sergeant Bolton and Trooper Reisner. I was just right there talking to Trooper Reisner back before, hey, can you go pick up Sergeant Bolton in his house? And the crash happened. I'm gonna carry that with me the rest of my life. You know, I've talked to professionals in the medical field, and you know, at one point in time, I carried that with me that it was my fault that crash happened because I was the one that sent Trooper Reisner to Sergeant Bolton's house. But you know, I've integrated it now in teaching. So when I teach at our academy in Columbus, I teach at the academy in Philadelphia. I can talk about that stuff. And
They also have outlets. They have, if you need to talk to someone, they provide that for
yeah,
us.
we have the employee, what they call EAP, the Employee Assistance Program. There's other outlets. We have our member assistance team, which are our peers that throughout the state that when these critical incidents happen, we can talk to those folks. They know exactly what we're going through because the majority of the folks that are on these teams have dealt with the same thing, so they know what we're coming from. So there's different outlets that you can do.
And they'll even provide services if you have like stress, like outside of work-related stuff. Say if your family or whatnot, they will provide assistance for that too. That's actually pretty good service. Yes. At least our job is not such a great hours, I can't go to the bathroom. If somebody has to be there in there 24/7, you can't leave the room, that there's another dispatcher in there. So you eat your lunch while you're talking, you run to the bathroom, run back, you really are confined to that one area.
So my mom and dad were corrections officers for years when I was younger. I would always ask them, hey, do you do any paperwork? And they'd always tell me to get any paperwork or anything. And now the system is being computer rated. I was wondering about like how it affected the handwriting to computer type that affected you really.
It did a lot because every time the advisor of the traffic stop or the girls, we'd have to handwrite everything down. And everything's signaled, so they write everything down. You have to save this log. But now it's I have 2 keyboards and it's constantly typing. I don't hardly ever write anything. So your parents are a correction officer?
They're not anymore, but they were for 30 years.
That's a tough job. That is a tough job.
I'd always say, yeah, I want to be a corrections officer. Like, no, you don't want to be.
Anything else besides Robert was going on the field trip with Mrs. Hanlon? No, this would occur every 4 months. Anybody else besides Robert?
Any other questions? Yes. It does. You cannot be late for work. If you're late for work, first time in the morning, every 2 times you get fired. So you can't be late for work. You can't leave work for no reason. You can't say, oh, it's 5 till 2. I got my 5 minutes. I'm walking the door early. That doesn't happen. So yeah, it is a big deal.
You expect to be at your workstation prior to being in shape because there's obviously you're relieving somebody who's been there the previous 8 hours. You need to talk with those people, communicate with people. Say Tracy works at 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. At 2 o'clock, you know, those people working the 2 p shift have to be there a little bit before that so she can pass on the information of what happened in the previous 8 hours.
Like this morning we came in, there was a crash in Pike County, whichever show copy five to miles. The crash in Pike County where somebody overturned and was blocking the road. So we had to pass all that information on her. Tow trucks are around, squads are around, truck runs right there. background checks. I was 20 when I came on. They went to my high school, talked to my teachers, talked to my principal, checked my grades, did a financial background on me, did a criminal background on me. If you've ever been in trouble with a juvenile, you're not going to have a chance to get on. They will check you out completely. Okay? No face piercings. We don't have face. I don't have my earrings in. No face piercings. No tattoos. Anything. Well, I'm going to pick track it up. Anything below the sleeve. Can't have any tattoos to show. You can be the best person in the world. You come in for job interview. They'll ask you to leave.
I don't know how many people we have to turn down that are
No
retired
tattoos.
military. We just had a guy that's in he's active in the Marine Corps right now. He would be an excellent trooper, but he had a couple of tattoos on each of his forearms, and we can't hire him because of that, because our tattoo policy it's so strict.
So if you're
you can't have any physical tattoos in your short sleeve shirt.
If you're sure about doing a professional like this, don't do it. If you do tattoos, do it where nobody can see, like your shoulder or your back. Don't do it where they can see it, because you will not get hired. You can be the best person. We've had this kind of come in for it, and it was close to their sleeve. They've taken them up and tied on the shirt, and it was below the sleeve. They didn't get a chance. You didn't get a chance. No, you can't come in with purple hair. You have to have a good driving record. They will check your driving record. They will check your attendance all through school. I mean, we are, when they first stood up at the show, we were based off the military. So, as you can see, most of our troopers are in shape. They have the GXT every year, every 2 years. They have to go.
Exercise test, yeah, performance.
Now, this coach not required to do that. They have to do some time. They can't be they weigh in every month. They can't be overweight. If they do, they can get fired. We don't have that requirement as an officer, but they do expect us to look professional. You know, if you have long hair, you wear it up. You can't wear fingernail polish. You know, they can change that couple of different wear fingernail polish, but you have a neutral color. They can't have the jewels or the sparkles or nothing like that. You can wear one ring, no bracelet, this is the boss. So it's very military based, extreme. Someone calls you on the phone, cuts you out because they got a ticket. Yes, sir, I understand. You can't say anything back to them. Very, very professional. So if you guys think about this, you're going to a high school. You got to remember, no tattoos, no facial piercings, do your best in school, and you'll succeed. They'll check your character out. If you're a bully, don't think about putting other kids. It's not going to happen. They'll check into your character. They want a good, round person. Are we done? Okay. Well, I'm glad you guys got to come today.
Thanks for your attention.
Anybody have real quick?
Guys, I'll take your questions on your way out. We'll head up. Not me.
As you can see, I'm required a lot of paperwork, so I gotta keep stuff ready to go. This here is, once you guys come back to work, computer system, when I'm talking, or I need to do something, I can run just the same amount of stuff that they can, but it's better that they run it, because if I'm driving, I don't really need to be typing on this to try to find out the info, so that's why I can give it to them. They can run it and give it right back to me. But mainly everything comes off of here. Our crashes, our computers, printer, so we can print out the tickets when we write tickets. When I want to talk to the dispatchers, I do it with this. I'll just do a radio check so you guys can hear, but you gotta be real quiet, okay? 892 Jackson, radio check.
892, you're loud and clear.
See? And that was the dispatcher answering me back. Okay? That's mainly, I mean, that's the dispatcher's job.
826, check out.
Answer me at all times. And he's checking up on his unit.
What car are you trying to get your way?
He gets to hear a little bit of our radio
Okay.
traffic. So, you know, yeah, they mainly know where we are because we have GPS, but their job is to make sure every half hour that if we haven't done anything, then they know exactly where we're at. Okay, guys? Take the opportunity to look, like I said, ignore everything because my daily office here, I keep everything in it, so feel free to look. Just please don't punch any buttons, please. And that's just backseat. Heroin, things like that. This works on heroin. It is a mist that we have to spray in their nostrils. There's 2 doses. once again, it's full in here, guys, and ignore the red purse. Necessities in the trunk. All the communications that we have to be hooked up in some way. Those are all located right here on the tray. We have radio techs that go through and hook up all of our equipment. That we absolutely, yes, we actually do carry the spare tire in there. Rifle. This is just some commercial stuff I have, but fire extinguisher. When I'm handling a crash, this is how I measure everything handling the crash. Traffic cones, so if we need to put them down, there is some road flares down in the bottom. So, you know, all this stuff we need. There's a first aid kit packed in behind there also. All those things we need to be able to work the road, to be able to help people keep ourselves safe, plus the motorists safe. So this is all. Which box? This one? Just kind of some odd and end things. We keep my spare printer papers in there. Teddy Trooper. So sometimes if some of the young children that are involved in a crash, and you know, to console them, we may give them a Teddy Trooper to keep them from you know, especially the very, very young ones. Other stuff is kind of odd and end paperwork that I need to store. I just didn't have enough room. Do you remember the stop sticks when they said they hit all 4 tires? Mm-hmm. That's what these are. So I would pull those out of there, and they would open. I would roll them out, and it's like these are 3 separate sections, but they're all connected, I guess, but they're into 3 parts. And that's almost like a fishing thing. So once I throw it out there, I can reel it in, and I can bring it across the road, because there's spikes in here that will bust your tires. And that's when you saw that in the video in the car, and they said they got all 4. They threw those out, and they busted all 4 of the tires to make that car have to stop. Yeah, and the lights will access back here, so when if I'm stopped and I lift my trunk and you can no longer see my light bar, they're shining here and also here. They're flashing, but it's not quite as bright as those, but it still lets people know that I am stopped there, and you can see them. So if I lift my trunk. So when I pick those on, now my camera's picked on and I can see everything. Everything's recorded. So now, okay? So there's the light bar system for you guys. demonstrator job. Camera system like that up front, that's what's hanging right there. So once camera kicks on, and there's also one that shows the back seat, so I can pick up everything that the person's doing who's in the back seat. Trunk full of, once again, a bunch of toys, you know, that we have to carry to make sure that we can get by. There's another gun back there, which is a rifle. Rifle back there, just my day-to-day. There is a spare tire. There is, like I said, other equipment. There's, when I do the crash, that's what that little, supposed to be my measurement slip. When I do a crash, we use this a lot. This is a very used tool in this cruiser. Because we do handle a lot of crashes. There's fire extinguisher, there's traffic cones. There's actually flares down in the bottom there also, okay?